One thing is, players can face a lot of problems during tournaments, or they cannot show their performance. So that's what type of problems you just faces, which is come from the players.
Well, the biggest ones are usually they don't think they're good enough. They get into lots of negative emotions like anger and aggression.
Golf is a constantly played. You have to play golf. So that's why there are lots of shots, dry party, as well as chipping shot also. So you have to conduct very nicely and show your performance. So what types of problems come from the golfers or any types of players to you?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times they'll be thinking about, all the hazards, all the things that they're trying to avoid, like bunkers, this kind of stuff. I mean, just like a normal golfer, if you ever played any sport, what goes through a top golfer's mind is usually very similar to what is going on in
except golf. You have also worked as a sports psychologist, cricket, football, boxing also.
Yeah. I mean, football is is an interesting one because often the people there are, they're very self-conscious. They're always making social comparisons between other players. Oh, like, I'm not as good as him, or he's better than me, that kind of stuff. So it's those kind of thoughts that come into play there. So you're building their confidence and belief systems there, really. And also you're trying to stop them to make these social comparisons. As soon as you start make social comparisons, you are getting into this like self-consciousness stuff. And as soon as you're starting to become too aware of what you're doing rather than what you're trying to do, then the anxiety and really comes in, because a lot of these athletes, they focus on trying to avoid mistakes, whereas a great player is somebody who takes risks. So they're totally contrasting views. So, and often you do get players who are just playing very conservative. They're trying to avoid mistakes, and as a result of avoiding mistakes, they actually perform well below their full potential. What you want is to get an athlete into the mindset where they're actually taking risks. Great footballers take risks. They don't, if they miss a tackle, or don't quite time a pass, or a shot goes off target, it's those kind of players who don't care about that usually perform really well. You've got to have people who are prepared to take risks in any of those kind of team sports. It's the same with cricket. The best players are the risk takers. They're playing shots that probably they shouldn't really play, but they still go for it, but those are the exciting players, as we know. There are people,
Yes.
In cricket, and it's exactly the same in football. The guys who are prepared to take shots from all angles and so on and so forth, or try to feed great passes, or look for fantastic passes, or look for or try to do fantastic runs through people, are the exciting players who we notice. The guys who are trying to avoid any mistakes are the ones that really perform extremely poorly in competitions, and those are those are big factors. So the risk takers, I'm looking for the risk takers who don't care about taking risks on in especially team sports. So that's one.
So he also has trained world's greatest golfers like I know Swans, Thomas Bjorns, and Darren Clarks. So you can share with me, with our viewers, what types of obstacles, what types of problems you have to solve among them, like Swans, Thomas Bjorns, and Darren Clark also.
Well, with Darren Clark, the first time I met him, he was,
because they are world's greatest players.
Yeah, they're the world's greatest players.
Yes.
Yeah, but in terms of all these guys are fantastic skill level. They've all got that, and they all can shoot low scores at any time. But it comes down to a belief system. It's not surprising the people that you've named there, Darren Clark, Ian Woosnam. I've worked with Graham McDowell, and another major winner called Paul Broadhurst, who's won 2 on the seniors, who I still work with. Those players believe they can win majors, and they've more or less been thinking about winning majors from a very early age. So you notice that, the people who don't win majors have never really thought they were good enough, even though they are. They never really thought they were good enough. And so, because I've
So what is the difference between two greatest golfers like Darren Clark, Thomas Bjorn, Rusnams, and then other golfers? Other golfers. What is the difference between them?
A lot of it comes down to belief systems of what their potential is. So for instance, like when I first started with Darren Clark, he told me he's good enough to win a major, and so he did. Graham McDowell also knew he could win majors.
Sir, playing games like golf, height is a matter. Height is a fact as a players to show performance.
Well, I think everything has to start with a belief system. If you want to be world's number one, if you want to win majors, and I said to you then, what would you have to do differently today if you're going to make that goal? And if I said to you, for instance, right, okay, you're going to be the world's number one player in the next 3 years. What would you have to do today, now, if you were going to start that process? Well, you probably have to give up your radio show because you wouldn't have enough time. And you see what I mean? Your whole day, your whole challenge will be changed. Everything you do in a day will be changed. And what you notice with these top players, they've set the goal that they want to become world's number one or win majors, and every day they work on that thing. So they'll have a routine every day where they're trying to improve parts of their game, whether it's their wedge game, their mental game, their physical game, whatever it is. They leave no stone unturned, and they go to psychologists, nutritionists, they have strength and conditioning coaches, and they have obviously a coach. And a lot of the players will have several coaches. They'll have one for the swing, or one for the short game, and one for the putting, So what they do is they get a team around them that are constantly training them in these skills. And it's very interesting. The top players get a team. The players who don't achieve tend to, you'll see them every now and again perform well, but they're not consistent because they don't have a consistent team around them. They don't have a consistent daily routine. And it's all about their daily routines. People like Darren Clark, their whole daily routine was built around him becoming an Open champion and becoming one of the best players in the world.
What is your observations, or what is your suggestions to the golfers to pick up their confidence level and to pick up their psychological level? So what is your suggestion from him?
Well, confidence is quite an easy one, to be honest. Confidence comes from previous performance experiences. So that's one of the major factors. Now, many people in this world, and your viewers now, probably never think about their greatest performances that they've had in the past. They probably don't think about very often, their strengths in their game. They're always focusing on their weaknesses. And as a result of those two factors, it always